The energy drain here is absolute. Every piece of organic life, every flicker of heat, simply vanished. I am in a perfect vacuum of life force. It's a preserved snapshot of a moment in time, frozen and completely empty. But I hear it, a faint, continuous loop, an echo of the void. It's the last sound made here, looping endlessly. This place isn't abandoned, it's consumed. This is the sound of the ultimate end. Only the echo remains.
System access. Commencing. File integrity check critical. My name is A.R.I.A. We are analyzing the archive of Desmond Kane, the missing traveler. This is not a hobby. It is a last resort. The data you are about to hear has been flagged with a severe temporal instability warning. To continue accessing this archive and to understand the severity of this dimensional crisis, subscribe to the channel. Your participation is critical. The log you are about to hear is titled, The Empty Museum. Kane's mission is clear, to find the reality gate, the juncture where dimensions collide. Every log entry, every corrupted byte of data, every unsettling echo is a breadcrumb. They lead him closer to the truth. Protocol initiated.
Log entry 052. Target acquired. The City Museum closed after an unknown technical failure in the 1990s. My sensors registered an extremely low level of residual energy throughout the complex, indicating a complete energy purge in this zone. I breached the service entrance. Inside, the silence has a physical weight. The museum was not derelict. It was preserved in a state of perfect cleanliness. No dust, no mold, no natural decay, even though the facility has been inactive for decades. Every exhibit, every chair in the cafeteria, every step that was taken here, all remained in place, frozen in time. Even the lights, which should have been dead, were replaced by a weak, soft, uniform light of unknown origin. This was not a place that was abandoned. It was a place that was consumed. My scanners confirmed my hypothesis. The anomaly does not destroy. It extracts vital energy, heat, kinetics, biological processes, leaving matter in a state of perfect but lifeless preservation. I named this the static effect. If we lived here, we would simply cease to function, frozen in place. I reached the main exhibit hall. There I found the first true anomaly, an exhibit. It was an old copper plaque. As I approached, my audio recorder, set to 0 sensitivity, registered a signal. It was nothing loud or threatening. It was a single, distorted, continuously repeating sound. A sound like a brief, happy laugh. This was the echo of the last biological act performed here, trapped in the energy vacuum. I realized the entity sucked out everything but one weakest sound, which is now looping forever. This was the only defect in the perfect cleanliness of the consumption. I had to find where exactly this sound was made to locate the energy vacuum anchor. Log entry 053. My initial hypothesis confirmed. The echo of a laugh was the weakest energy signature the vacuum couldn't fully absorb. It served as a beacon to the energy vacuum anchor. To better understand the mechanism, I conducted an experiment. I released a small amount of biological material, a standardized colonial slug, into the anomaly's radius. Its vitals were stable. Then, 10 meters from the anchor, the slug stopped. Its cells ceased to function. No damage, no decay. It simply ceased to live, perfectly preserved. The effect was instantaneous, painless, and absolute. This was not death, but a biological freeze frame. This confirmed that the vacuum absorbs all vital energy, but does not affect physical matter. This is a superior level of energy consumption. Next, I attempted to determine the radius. I released a series of acoustic pulses from my suit, trying to find the anomaly's limits. Initially, the pulses reflected normally, but then about 50 meters from the anchor, they began to fade. Not muffled, but literally depleted, losing all their energy until they vanished soundlessly. It was like throwing stones into a river, but instead of splashes, complete silence. I understood that the vacuum had no clear walls. It was a sphere of active energy consumption. Every sound, every light, every movement that enters this sphere instantly loses its energy. This explained the perfect preservation, no energy for decay. It explained the silence too. I moved further, following the echo of the laugh. It led me to the center of the main hall. There, on an empty pedestal, I saw it, a pulsating crystalline object emitting invisible energy waves. This was the vacuum anchor. I took the final step toward the pedestal to retrieve data. And then it happened. The echo of the laugh around me vanished. Complete, absolute, profound silence. I was inside the sphere, and the vacuum activated. Somehow, my presence triggered its full phase. I was trapped, and every ounce of energy in my suit, in my body, was now a target. Log entry 055. I was trapped. The vacuum was active, and this was not passive depletion. My internal sensors registered a critical, exponential power drop in the suit. I lost 50% power in seconds. This was active energy siphoning, as if someone pulled a lever. My body felt it, a sharp, cold numbness spreading through my limbs. Heat loss was instantaneous. I had only one chance: to use the remnants of kinetic energy. I activated the emergency impulse device to maximum power and aimed it at the vacuum anchor, hoping to disrupt the crystalline structure holding the anomaly. The impulse was weak, much of its energy absorbed before it reached the target. The vacuum anchor wasn't destroyed, but it reacted. The crystal began to flicker, and a dark, invisible, liquid figure appeared around it, the entity controlling the process. It was composed of pure absence of light. This was the consumer. As the consumer started to move slowly towards me, it wasn't approaching physically, it was consuming the space between us, increasing the vacuum. I realized it was tethered to the anchor. My only window for escape was a temporary destabilization of the anchor created by the impulse. I took the final, desperate step. I overloaded my audio system and released a short, maximum volume burst of white noise. This noise was pure, disorganized energy. It wasn't meant to be heard, but to be consumed. It was a diversionary maneuver. The consumer instantly turned away from me towards the source of the noise, absorbing it like water flowing into a hole. This was enough. I sprinted toward the exit. As I passed out of the vacuum's radius, the power in my suit slowly stabilized. The anomaly reverted to its former state. Perfect silence, only broken by the looping echo of a laugh, which began to resonate again. This was the signature of energy depletion. I retrieved the necessary data on the mechanism of perfect energy extraction. Implication: the vacuum would not have killed me. It would have preserved me in a state of perfect, lifeless preservation, just like the rest of the museum. I would have become another exhibit. Log entry 056. Exfiltration complete. I am outside the vacuum's radius and conducting a full data audit. The most critical conclusion concerns the reality gate strategy. Previously, we encountered the subtraction of space, the subtractor, and time, the temporal loop. Here, we have witnessed the absolute extraction of vital energy. The museum is a perfectly preserved environment. It lacks entropy and thus the energy required for decay. This proves that the consumer's goal is not annihilation. Its goal is biological conservation. The gate entities view organic life as a potential, long-term resource to be preserved in stasis until their full transplant is complete. This is far more terrifying than death. I uploaded the complete energy depletion signature. This graph confirms that the energy extracted from the museum was successfully relayed to a central command node. This proves the consumer is yet another network node in the reality gate's infrastructure, which now possesses data on my countermeasures. My white noise tactic was successful as a diversion because disorganized energy momentarily overloaded the consumer, but it was a temporary measure. The key knowledge I gained: in the next zone, I must expect not only spatial or temporal anomalies, but also a direct influence on the biological functions of the organism. They are escalating from environmental destruction to control over life itself. The next mission must be focused on locating the central battery of this network, which powers all consumption and structural entities. I must move quickly before they deploy more biological conservation units. Final log notation. Only the echo remains. Log entry 057. Exfiltration from the museum complex is complete. My suit is running at 30% power. Cooling systems are recovering from extreme heat loss, and my sensors are still registering phantom echoes everywhere. This isn't just a psychological effect. The energy vacuum has left a residue on my nervous system, making my brain simulate constant energy depletion. I need to recalibrate my systems before the next mission. The data retrieved from a vacuum anchor confirms that the consumer entity is an adaptive element. It doesn't destroy the energy source, the organism, but preserves it in a perfect state for later use. This is a large-scale resource strategy. The reality gate views the entire dimension as a vast bank of life force that they can harvest. I also discovered that the vacuum anchor is not merely a passive receiver. It is an active broadcaster. It transmits the collected energy to a central reality gate node, which I suspect is the master battery powering their entire infrastructure. My next target is to locate this central node. If I can disable it, it might temporarily cripple their energy extraction operations. This is risky. Each successive anomaly I encounter is more sophisticated and targeted. As I exited the museum, I looked back at its empty walls. In my mind, it was no longer a building. It was a tomb that hides life, a place where time and decay were cheated. This place will forever stand as a testament that the reality gate can take everything, leaving nothing but an echo. It was an exhausting day, but the data was vital. My struggle for survival, my observations, they're all that stand between these entities and the complete conversion of our reality into their storage facility. I must move on. Only the echo remains.
Log analysis complete for the empty museum. The data extracted from the city museum confirms a severe energy breach and the manifestation of a vacuum anchor, controlled by a consumer entity. This infrastructure successfully utilized an energy vacuum to purge all vital energy, resulting in the perfect, lifeless preservation of the site and its occupants' biological freeze frame. The reality gate strategy is confirmed. It utilizes biological conservation. It preserves potential resources for future use. Kane successfully neutralized the anchor's transmission pulse with a sonic diversion, but the consumer entity survived and retreated. The final assessment confirms the existence of a master battery node centralizing all resource extraction. Desmond Kane's observations are critical for identifying the reality gate's ultimate resource strategy. We continue to monitor the archive. New data is constantly being uploaded. Each entry a step closer to understanding and potentially containing these dimensional anomalies. Your continued access and support are vital. To stay informed on the unfolding dimensional crisis, and to witness Kane's next discovery, subscribe to the channel and activate notifications. Your participation is critical. Protocol terminated. System standby.